today, Mr. Sriharsh Kaushik. Mr. Sriharsh Kaushik has over 28 years of experience in building and managing startup operations and scaling up existing operations in India and international markets as well, supporting leadership, designing organization structures, and helps in talent management through learning intervention, resulting in enhanced contribution. Mr. Sriharsh Kaushik has done his bachelor's in master's in marketing management, master's in human resource management from the Mumbai University, and is a PhD fellow from JJT University, and also done his clinical hypnotherapy from ECHA Foundation for Clinical Hypnotherapy. Mr. Sriharsh Kaushik has worked in various companies like Blue Cross as a trainer for 3 years, ran Baxi as a general managing training for 9 years, and also has a head SFE Cipla International for 3 years. Is passionate about enhancing Salesforce effectiveness by designing and delivering sales training manager development programs, outbound or experiential activities, and assessment centers. Mr. Sriharsh Kaushik is happily married and is blessed with two sons. His wife, Dr. Nurjahan Safia Nas, is a social worker and works mostly towards women centric issues. It gives me immense pleasure to introduce Ms. Nurjahan Safia Nas because she is the women behind the landmark judgment case, the Right to Pray case in 2016, as the first woman to enter the Hazi Ali Dargah after the judgment passed by the Supreme Court. Mrs. Nurjahan also has written several books like Women's Sharia Court and The Reclaiming Sacred Spaces. Now, I hand over the session to Mr. Sriharsh Kaushik. Sir, would love to hear you. Thank you.
Thank you, Raj. Okay. Thank you, Rajeshwari. That was a great introduction. Pleasure to be here with all of you all Rotarians 1350, and happy to be with you and spend this 45 minutes. Uh, to begin with, uh, uh, I'm just going to share my screen. Screen. This will stop other screen sharing. Yes. Can you all see my screen? Just someone give me an okay that you all are able to see my screen.
Yes, yes.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
great. One second. Just let me move to. Okay. So I'll directly get into this whole session on communication that I'm planning to do. I the way I structure my presentation, I call it remembering these 5 C's of communication. Now, before I get into the direct topic, one thing that I have been always talking to in my entire career for the last 20 years as a sales trainer, working with various people, I personally believe that there are two mother skills that we all need to invest, consistently, and if we are able to develop our grip, our ability to communicate, we are able to achieve our dreams. We will be able to create a lot of impact. We'll be able to walk the path that we would like to go. So these are two skill sets that have played a very, very important role. So on the onset, I will try and tell you that, like everyone starts their career, English is not my mother tongue. I was definitely not born with this language as a first language or something. We spoke vernacular language at home. I had my own challenges in speaking effective or communicating effectively. Everyone starts off, you struggle with your graduation. I got as a graduate, whatever dreams were there, probably those dreams were broken by the time I was 20. And then you try to take up a job, and I took up a job of a medical rep. And medical representation, you have to go and meet doctors and promote products, and one training or the other led to it. There was a lot of confidence. The career initially I got some advantage because of confidence, but then I realized that I almost spent in 9 years in all with my first company called Organon in sales, and I realized that my career would not go anywhere if I had not corrected this one one skill set that became very, very critical in order to become successful, and that was the communication skills. So I consider two skill sets, one being communication skills, the other being interpersonal skills, as very, very important skills in order to build on for anybody. And over the period of time, uh, I've been able to live my dream, achieve certain career goals that I want to achieve, whatever success in life that I've been able to achieve. It's primarily because of communication. So, in the course of the whole talk, I will share in certain tips, certain processes by which we will go in. But this is one skill set. Whether you are making a public speak, you are doing a public speaking, you are giving an interview, or you are probably doing a role of a sales individual, or you are taking up any leadership roles. Our ability to effectively communicate is the most important skill because it impacts everything. We may have a lot of content, a lot of knowledge, a lot of understanding, but if we are not able to network and not able to communicate and are not able to be articulate, we will miss it out. So, this journey from this being a language which was a weakness to it becoming a strength and thereby helping me live my dreams or achieve my career goals is something that communication has helped me achieve. So, what is it that I today, uh, please, can everyone mute their mics, please? There is some background. Yeah, thank you. So, currently, whenever I do a training program, I do managerial development programs, I talk to people in the industry, wherever I'm going. This is a quick session that I usually spend time on because I feel that everyone needs to get onto the path of building their communication skills, and this is something that you need to invest. I currently also am working very hard and trying to build this up because on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 is very poor and 10 is excellent. I still believe that my English communication is at around 6. I can fake a 7. But we need to keep putting on, keep investing, and this is one skill set that will take us places. So, with that short, brief introduction on how important I consider communication, uh, I'll start with my fundamentals that I follow in preparing for our communications and how do we build effective communication. So I've got this simple formula. I call it the 5 C's of communication. So let's quickly look at what is the first C of communication. So the first C of communication I just call is confidence. Whenever you are communicating to anybody, whether it's a sales call, one-on-one, making a presentation, today most of the time we are communicating over this medium that is talking online. If you cannot establish confidence, no matter who, where you're talking, what is the audience you're talking, if the audience finds you a little shaky, not very confident about yourself, if you are not able to establish confidence, what is going to happen? People are not going to listen to you. There is this beautiful quote that I always talk about that if you have to talk for a few minutes, give me a month to prepare. If I have to talk for an hour, give me a day to prepare. But if I have to speak to you for an entire day, I can start right away. What does this mean? That most of the time when we are going to communicate to people, we are not going to get a day to communicate. Today, in most situations, we will get short periods of time to communicate to people, and our ability to be effective in communicating there is something that is very, very critical. So, my whole point is most of our communications are going to be under 5 minutes, 4 minutes, and your ability to be able to create an impact in that 5 minutes of what you're going to talk is something that is very, very critical and very, very crucial, and for which a lot of preparation is required. And if you don't appear confident, if people will lack seeing confidence in the way you're approaching whatever you're trying to do, you will lose the audience, they will not listen to you. So the first 30 seconds of what you talk and how you are introduced, how you set the context becomes a very, very critical aspect of communication. So there are a couple of things that I keep telling people. Simple things in terms of how do you introduce your name. Now I'll give you I mean I've been corrected. I was never perfect on this. So most of the time I would take my name, I would say Suresh Kaushik. And half the time people would find it very difficult because you are nervous, because there are certain issues happening. You take your name also in a very haphazard manner, or you do it very fast. And then they talked about this Bollywood character who introduces himself the best. It's the James Bond. So my name is Bond. James Bond. It's considered to be one of the best forms of introductions. We need to pick up something from there and learn and build our ability to communicate, introduce our name. So the concept of introducing your name carries a fact that you need to use this principle of PPP, that is power, pause, and punch. The three P's need to be followed in the back of your mind when you're taking your name. So take your first name with power. My name is Sriharsh. Take a pause after your first name and then punch the second name by saying Kaushik. So my name is Sriharsh Kaushik. If I create this conscious ability to even take my name powerfully, this is one way in which you will probably be able to establish confidence. The work on your introduction, the first few times, if you're going to give a speech, if you're talking somewhere, you will get this time to introduce. This is the favorite question that people will ask you. Tell me about something about yourself when you go for an interview. Most of the places, when you come down into doing a self introduction, your ability to really establish confidence in doing this introduction, in giving your name, is something very critical. Is very, very critical. If you become a little weak when it comes down to introducing your name and it comes down to giving your self introduction, if there is weakness there, people are not going to listen to you. They probably then will just wait for you to put in words and move on. So spend some time in building this. The entire there's a lot of mechanism. There are a lot of things that one needs to do in order to build or establish confidence. But the responsibility of a speaker to appear confident and establish confidence while he speaks is a very, very critical aspect of communication. So what are the strategies that one can follow while you're trying to establish confidence or build confidence? So I've got these three things that I try and talk about it as to how do you build confidence. So what are the three things that you need to do in order to build confidence? Reading is a skill set, it's a friendship, it's a love that we all need to develop. If you're not reading, hope in hell that our communication will improve. So I'll give you another story here. I mean, my journey. I was, there was a new boss who came, who started. I had to report to him after being 3 years into the organization. I was even promoted as a frontline manager. I thought I was very successful, but my English language was not very good. And this individual was able to pick it up. I was a manager in Bombay, managing a team of about 10 reps and covering. So I thought that I was very good and I was successful because in 3 years I got a promotion in this company that I was working for. But this manager said that you are very local, you speak the Bombaya language. Everyone can hear me? I mean, am I okay? I'm audible? I've just gone on because I
Yes,
didn't
sir,
check
you are
back.
audible.
Okay, thank you. So this boss of mine came in and he started ridiculing me and he constantly kept telling me that I'm no good and I will not have a good career and this is the best that I've done in my life, primarily because my communication is weak. And I really actually didn't like him as much. I was thinking that I could have done his job, but he kept ridiculing me and telling me that you're not fit to be a manager in Mumbai. You should be moved to Jumri Tilaya. You should be taken to Darbanga, some remote towns in Bihar. And he said that you're fit for these places, not fit to be a manager in Bombay. So I got a little worried. I was just a graduate then. So I thought that this guy is not going to let me have a great career. So I decided to pursue my MBA. So I got an admission for a part-time MBA. Masters in Marketing Management is a course from Mumbai University. I got for that and I needed a certificate for getting an executive, what to say, I needed a certificate that I'm an executive and I've got a few years of what to say experience. So I went to him and he said that look, you cannot treat venereal disease by applying lipstick on the face. So I said I didn't understand what he's trying to talk about. He said explain to me the meaning. So I said I don't get you. What are you trying to say? So he said, oh, I forgot, it is in English. I'll explain it to you in Hindi. गुप्त रोग को मुंह पे लाली लगा के ठीक नहीं किया जाता. इसका मीनिंग बता. It made no sense to me. So I asked him, what are you talking about? So he said, look, you're doing an MBA. Doing an MBA or getting a qualification is like putting a lipstick on your face. It is not going to treat a disease that you have got. So I said, what disease are you talking about? He says, you don't read. Your communication is poor because you are not reading well. And that's when I was 26, when my journey with English and reading started. So he gave me this simple formula: read one newspaper a day, one magazine a week, one book a month. If you don't read this much, hope in hell that there's going to be a career. Doing no matter what classes, how many lectures you listen to, attend to, what degrees you get. If you do not develop this habit of reading, you are not going to have the confidence to speak. The more you read, your confidence will go higher and better. So, one of the ways in which you will be able to have effective communication or build your communication is by enhancing your reading ability. Any progressive adult, any progressive individual, anyone who's chasing growth and looking at leadership in the future will have to read. And please follow this formula. It takes about half an hour, 45 minutes of reading every day. And this is a commitment that you have to do for life. And if you do this, I'm sure that your grip over communication will improve, your ability to influence will go up. The second thing is, for anywhere to look confident, any kind of communication to do well, you need to prepare and practice. There is no substitute to preparation and practice. Now, there is a beautiful book that I would recommend all of you all to read. This book is called Outliers by Malcolm Gladwell. Now, this book, he talks about the power of practice. He's talked about anyone who's become great in life, you will see there's a lot of practice behind it. He says even the most professional people and players will not enter the field until and unless they put good amount of practice. And most of us in our careers, communication skill is going to be an important skill. And for this important skill to create an impact, you better practice. So better prepare and practice. These are my first 3 rules for building confidence, and you need to be confident to be able to effectively communicate. Let's quickly move to the second C of communication. Second C of communication is content. Now, what do I mean by content? Whatever you are going to talk, you need to be well prepared with that, good understanding on what you are trying to talk about. There are 2 things that I do. Never talk a language of somebody else. Speak things that, speak from your heart, speak from your belly. Your ability to be able to communicate, make whatever you're talking sound like it is your own, is something that is going to be very, very critical. So content has got 2 dimensions. If you are looking at content, we talk about content structure and content depth. It is our responsibility to make things simpler for people to receive. So when you are communicating something, just put it in some structure. If you can give people a structure of your communication and you can repeat that multiple times, you take the effort of helping them understand the structure, then you are going to be very successful in communication. So what do I mean by structure? Today I am talking to you about effective communication. I put in a structure of 5 C's. My first C was confidence. Confidence has got 3 ways in how you will improve. Second thing, I came down to content. My second C is content. Content will have 2 things that you need to focus on: content structure, content depth. Structure I have just explained. Depth means if you read well, if you prepared well, you organize your points, you give in your proof, you bring in your justifications about what you are trying to talk, you bring in your story, you bring in your creative elements. All these aspects, if you put into your talk, then you will have depth onto your content that you are talking about. So this following content structure and managing content depth are 2 important aspects of effective communication. So the first C that we saw was confidence. Build confidence by reading, preparing and practicing. Second C of communication that you need to keep in your mind, that are you thorough with your content? So whatever you are talking about it, have you prepared that on that topic well? Do you have depth there? Do you have stories to tell? Do you have examples to tell? Do you have proofs and justifications to make it more interesting? So that becomes your content. Is there some originality that you can bring in to your content? That is also an important aspect. We can build it up on a great way, but you need to have content depth. People will listen to you. You will be effective at communication. If you are not prepared, if you are shallow, if you don't know that topic really well, people will find it very difficult. You will find it very difficult to have people listening to you and get engrossed to you, or your ability to influence them goes weaker. Second thing that is also required in the content structure is in the content element is you need to have content structure. So put it in some form of structure, make this structure clear to people, and thereby you will be able to effectively communicate. The third C of communication is, I call it the communication finesse. Now what do I mean by communication finesse? it is your oratory style, the way you talk. And every individual, I show movies, there are, look at movie stars, look at many people talking. Every individual has got his unique way of talking. There is something that he plays more on. For example, I play on a lot of volume, I play on a lot of energy. I talk a lot of very loud, there's a little bit of body language. This is my style. I mean, can't I go soft? I can go slow. I can change my speed if I want. That I mean, you think now for the last probably 10 minutes that I'm talking to you, I'm almost yelling and I'm almost throwing a lot of volume. Can't I go slow? I can definitely go slow. I don't talk like that every time with everybody. But my ability, while I'm taking sessions, I feel online, if I don't create this lot of energy and lot of speed and lot of pressure, people will find it difficult to stay with me. Because I've got this 35, 40 minutes to talk, 30 minutes to talk. I need to make it more impactful, so I go fast. So my whole issue is your ability to recognize your style of communication and build on that communication is something that is very, very critical. There are 8 factors that you need to play on, and you need to build your ability to control these 8 levers of communication. What are the 8 levers of communication? Volume. Do you talk in high volume, throw in a lot of volume, or you drop in volume sometimes? So that is one aspect. Your speed. I talk relatively fast. There are some people who talk very slow. But can you speak at a good pace that most of the people will be able to catch what you're trying to do? The third aspect is modulation. Your ability to emphasize certain words, put pressure on certain words, create that energy that helps people stay tuned to you, and people like listening to you. So your ability to manage this, your ability to take pause and punctuations, have some long sentences, have some short sentences, your ability to take in that flow. All these factors, these are the 4 critical factors: volume, speed, pause, punctuation, and modulation. These become 4 very critical factors that enhance your communication, and it creates a style. Second, the other important aspects that aid your communication finesse, your ability to really impress people, is your vocabulary, the choice of words. If you're speaking the language, now many a times people say, oh, is communication, what has communication to do with English? It's not essential that you need to have English communication. But in our country, the business language is in an English language. So if you're mastering this language, you master it well. You need to have vocabulary there. Pronunciations, your pronunciations need to be right there. If you misspell certain things and your pronunciation goes in for a toss, then people are going to laugh at you. If I say school, then it gives you a rhythm from where you are. Today when I talk, most of the time when I've trained across the globe, wherever I've gone and trained, I ask people, can you guess what my mother tongue is? Yeah, I've been born and brought up in Bombay. But the way I speak, can you tell me what is the language that I speak at home? Most people will find it difficult to pick up what language I speak at home, because this language that I speak today, English, is learned much later in life. I watched the BBC News to get my vocabulary and pronunciations right. So one of the things that helped me in my career is to watch this BBC News at 11 o'clock for 45 minutes, and this English news, listening to it and reading regularly. These 2 things put together, somewhere it took me about 2.5 years, and I was able to build a grip on this language of communication. So your vocabulary improves by reading, your pronunciations will improve by listening to a good English news, and you do it consistently over a period of time. If you invest that in the habit of reading and watching up certain news as an input for enhancing your communication, you will work on building your communication finesse. The other 2-3 things are, there are a lot of tips that we can give you on body language. How do you face an audience? How do you sit in front of people? Leaning postures, your hands, what do you do? So your body language plays a very, very important role when you are trying to create communication. So most of the time, if you are scared, if you put your hand inside your pocket, you carry a paper, you read out of a paper, you will lose your ability to grip the audience. So your ability to use body language to your advantage is a very, very important aspect. And eventually eye contact. Whenever you're talking, if you can maintain 70%, 80%, 90% eye contact with the people that you're talking, your ability to influence them will be higher. If you go into looking at your visual, looking at something else, looking at a paper and talking, you will give away a different message. So your ability to be able to effectively manage these 8 factors, play with these 8 factors, work on these 8 factors, will give you a grip on communication. So these 3 factors become the essential factors, the essential 3 C's of communication. First C was confidence, second C was content, the third C was communication finesse. You work on these 3 elements. It's a long journey and it's a lifelong journey. You need to keep investing, because if you want your confidence to go up on the topics that you're talking, you need to read and spend in time on that. Your content needs to go up, you need to prepare, you need to put in a lot of effort, create structure so that people will be able to understand, and eventually build your own narrative style so that in which you are very comfortable and you are able to express yourself well, and you don't need props and you don't need reminders and you don't think. So these are few factors. If you are able to look at, you will be able to effectively communicate, but it takes time before you build it. Now comes in the fourth C of communication that comes in handy while you are developing these 3 things, 3 C's, by the period of time that they are going to come up. The fourth C comes very very handy, and I call it it's called the fourth C is called conviction. Conviction is, I ask people, where do you speak from? There are some people who think and speak. They speak from the mind. Some people read from a piece of paper. They are speaking from the eyes. Whatever the eyes see, they are talking about it. And there are some people who become like parrots. So they will, mug it up, and you can make out that people are just talking in like a parrot, and they have learned someone's speech and they are just narrating it out. So which is a very effective way of communicating. So I believe that all these 3 points, whether it's your parrot talk or your eye talk or a mind talk, they are not effective. When you speak from your heart. If your voice comes from your heart and still from your belly, if you can put in that ownership in what you're trying to talk about, you own up what you're trying to talk about, you believe in what you're trying to talk about. If these elements are thrown, if you are able to establish conviction, if you are able to display conviction, then people will be able to listen to you and they will take things up from you. So my whole issue, a few days back, I was doing the same session on about conviction with some teachers. These are people who are studying to become teachers, and and these
मैं करवा दिया ना इसका स्क्रीन चेंज हो गया ना
someone's mic is come on, please. Can you all please put the mic off? Yeah. So couple of these what to say, I was talking to teachers, and most of these teachers also, when they teach, half the time when they are teaching, of course someone else has created theory, someone else has written a textbook, or someone else has written a speech. But when you are speaking, do you own up what you talk? These 5 C's of communication I was not born with. Someone, I have picked it up and I put it here. Of course, slides are made by me. But when I talk about these 5 C's, I own it up. I believe that this is the best thing that can happen. This is the right way to happen. I use it and I can give you an example. When you own up what you talk, when you talk with ownership and belief, you will be able to throw in conviction. The other ways of establishing conviction is repeat your points repeatedly. So multiple times if you repeat a point, it is another way of establishing conviction. Whatever you talk, if you talk with authenticity, that means you believe in that you're talking. Don't talk if you are not convinced on what you're trying to talk. So authenticity and ownership are other 2 factors. So whenever you are preparing to talk or whatever you're planning to say, spend time in building these 2 aspects of authenticity and ownership in your talk, and you will be able to establish conviction. So the 4 C's of communication that we so far covered, first one was confidence, second one was content, third one was communication finesse, and the fourth one was conviction. The first one we said, when we are talking about confidence, we said in confidence can be built by reading, preparing and practicing. On content, we talked about focus on building content structure and content depth, developing content structure and building content depth. In communication finesse, we talked about 8 parameters or 8 levers that you need to play with, and how will this benefit. Reading benefits this, watching to a good English news reader helps a lot, and this, if you put it over a period of time, you will build your control over these 8 factors. And those 8 factors were volume, speed, modulation, pause and punctuation, vocabulary, pronunciation, eye contact and body language. Eventually we came down to conviction, which is the 4th C of communication, and in this we talked about the power of repetition, power of ownership and power of authenticity. So be convinced that you're talking the right thing, the honest thing. Be sure what you're talking about. Own up what you're talking about. Make it your own while it's coming out of your mouth. And the thing is that repeat your points a couple of times, and thereby you will be able to establish conviction. And the responsibility of establishing confidence or establishing conviction or displaying a proper structure in the mind of your audience is your responsibility, it's the speaker's responsibility. The moment you start taking this responsibility, your ability to communicate effectively goes higher. Then we come down to the fifth C of communication. This fifth C of communication is creativity. So, what is the creativity element? Whenever you're communicating today, we are into this medium. I'm actually rushing through my speech because I've been given a time. I don't want to extend that time. I want to finish my talk within the first in the 30-35 minutes so that I can have what is my fifth C will come into play. Because here I'm passively talking, I don't get to interact with you all. But if in any communication, if you can move from a monologue to a dialogue, you are going to be successful in your communication. Your ability to interact in a communication is very, very important. Your ability to ask questions, your ability to discuss, your ability to have dialogue is something that is very, very important. If you can make your customers laugh, if you can make, your audience laugh, whoever you're talking to, if you can put a smile on his face through the way you talk, that is creativity. Crack a joke, tell a song, quote something, tell a story. There's a narrative style that you need to develop. And these elements don't come offhand. You need to consciously think what is the story that you're going to give. What is the question that you're going to ask? How can you make the person laugh? If you focus on these areas, slowly and steadily build in this as a part of your communication style, you will be able to keep people engrossed and people will love to listen to you. So today, the medium, I'm nowadays I talk a lot also in terms of how do you communicate now online. This is going to be a medium in which we are going to communicate and influence people. 90% of the time, you may land up giving interviews on a Zoom call or on a Skype call today. Most of my last interview, I got a job. I joined as a head of SAP in Zipla, but my first 3 interviews were all done telephonically or in a virtual medium. Hello. Again, someone has come on. So the point that I'm trying to bring in today, when we are trying to look at creativity, I'm exploring how do you do this. Now I'm doing an entire setup. My setup is still not ready. But when you are talking online today, you need to have a more plain background. Don't have something distracting behind. Don't have people walking in, going out. Is your face illuminated well? Is the microphone working well? Do you have your systems and all in place? You need to be very, very clear about this. Does your introduction go through? There are multiple things that today, the context setting in which we communicate are also going up. Another thing I've realized, in this COVID area, I realized that today if you have to communicate, I've been a trainer, I've been doing business with multiple people, but today all my trainings came to an halt. 7-8 trainings are cancelled and I'm sitting at home. Now I'm doing online training programs. But before, to get into this medium, I realized that now how will you go and market? You will not be able to go and do sales calls also. So what is the medium that is getting stronger? Today you want to communicate, I don't know, there are 120 people here. How many of you all have a YouTube channel running? And if you are wanting to be into a business of communication, you want to practice communication, it's a fantastic medium to go onto a YouTube channel and prepare your videos and put in. It is okay that today there may be errors, you can hide those videos later. But get familiar with building your ability to communicate through these videos. It's a nice medium, you talk whatever you want to talk to and try and talk about it. Be open to feedbacks from people. So I'm very, very strongly recommending people to start a YouTube channel. Put your thoughts. One video a week, I think everyone should put in as of now. So you don't need monetization and making money out of it, and competing is a later part of it. It is going to, my reading and my understanding today in terms of communication, which is the most powerful medium of communication. I thought, it would probably Google, internet, we are searching. Today, the number of searches that go onto YouTube has become more. People like to listen, then they like to read. Blogs are going down, podcasts are going down, but more than 40 million odd YouTube channels are there. People are all searching. Everything is available. Business is being done on these videos and through the medium of video communication. So I very very strongly believe that all of y'all should go and open a YouTube channel and figure your way out in terms of how to make a video, how to upload a video. With your mobile, you can upload a video. 3 minutes, 5 minutes, start talking. Slowly, the first few videos you will feel odd, they will not be good. Perfectly fine. It's okay. As you build your ability to communicate, this medium will become very, very, very powerful. So I never did that in COVID last 4 or 5 months. I've been making videos. I've been putting it on my channel. I'm regularly trying to promote that. I've got about 1,000 odd subscribers now, and I make videos on a weekly basis. Some motivational, some work related, and I try and talk about these things. So my whole issue is that today look at the mediums of communication. Effective communication is not only how you talk, but today we need to be also effective through this medium in talking, and that is what I will probably cover as a part of creativity. So this was my brief idea that I wanted to share with you all. Communication is I'm summarizing what I had to try to talk about, and then probably I've got 10 minutes for taking questions. The most important skill set today and tomorrow and the future for any productive individual is communication skills. We need to invest into it. There are 5 C's that we need to focus while we are building our communication. The first C is confidence. The second C is your content. Third C is communication fitness. Fourth C is your ability to be throw conviction or establish conviction. And the fifth C is creativity and using the proper medium and setting the right context. And whatever is the most popular medium, get comfortable speaking there. If these 5 C's are kept in mind and you play with these 5 C's for the next couple of years, I am sure this one medium of communication will come under your belt and you will be able to achieve every dream and every goal that you want. So this is what I wanted to talk. I will now throw open the session for any questions, and if you all have, I will probably take in those questions and answer something. Thank you very much for your patient hearing.
Thank you, sir. It was very good.
So I hope I have not overshot the time or something, and we have got some time for questions. So I'm okay with that.
I request all the Rotractors, if you have any doubts, any queries, you can ask. Sir is there to. It was a nice session, sir, and all the Rotractors, I request if you have any queries, please ask, sir.
And see, we are talking about communication. Communication will never be, complete until unless you interact. And there's no question is a stupid question, no question is a wrong question. We've come here to learn about effective communication. Communicate, just talk. I mean, I rushed through in a particular way. We've got 10 minutes, but I expect a few questions to come in. That's the best way we will take it forward. No questions. There are 113 people and no questions. Sorry, I think I got cut off. I'm back again. So, any questions?
Hello.
Hello. Yes, I'm there now. Sorry, I got cut off. I'm back.
Like unmute हो रहा है नहीं हो रहा है किसी का या फिर मेरा ही नहीं हो रहा unmute. Am I audible?
Yeah, I can hear someone.
Yes, Amit.
Hello Kaushik sir.
Hi, Amit.
Hi, this is Amar Naik, and I'm really glad that from the past 6 days, staying in isolation. This was one of the finest sessions which I actually enjoyed. I actually made few points, and I'm really glad that I'm a part of this session. So I have one question to ask, that when like everyone has their different style, right?
Yeah.
Communication, finance. You have mentioned the third one.
Yes.
So when it comes to this point, see, I'm a motivation speaker myself, not a big one, but I've started doing this right from 11th and 12th. This section of part becomes a problem when there are different kind of audiences. Like when I'm addressing an audience who are elder than me, this communication finesse I have to change. Like, how do I do that? Because I cannot stay the same way in all my sessions.
My whole point is that today I'll tell you a simple thing. When in Indian culture and context, we do a lot of sir, and we take people, calling people, particularly in the southern India also, calling someone by their name is considered. We need a lot of suffixes and prefixes while we talk. I work for a lot of American companies, and where I think that freedom is there. Over a period of time, I have culturally adapted. I very clearly, I don't have disrespect. I've got a lot of love and admiration to whoever I talk. So I believe anyone between 18 and 80 is the same age for me. So I will talk to them in first person. So there is again the whole issue here. I do the second session of a skill set. I call it transaction analysis. TA it is called. So what is happening is, many a times our adult communication. So there are 3 ego states: parent, adult, child. Most of us, knowingly, unknowingly, we see someone senior, someone elder, someone experienced. Our child ego state speaks, and therefore we require a lot of these suffixes, and they actually help prevent you from building a meaningful relationship with people that we are involved in. So communication is a medium through which you build a relationship, and this relationship should be built between the adults. Effective communication is when my adult talks to your adult, direct and free. There is no need of bringing the suffix, and I don't when I'm talking to you and listening to you, I'm not going to listen to you from a parent ego state. The best communication happens when the adult of an individual talks to an adult of the other individual. If it goes to some other ego states, there is a big mismatch. So this whole concept, I do a session on transaction analysis. I put in a lot of videos on my YouTube channel also. So I'm building this whole idea up that good communication is between 2 adults. So you build that style over a period of time, it will come in. Initially we feel a little odd, but slowly and steadily, whether it's an 18-year-old that I'm talking to or it's an 80-year-old I'm talking to, I will probably keep my tone the same. And in my tone, I am very certain that I am full of love and full of respect for people who I'm talking to. So it doesn't matter I call them by their name, or I don't call them sir and do all that. And second, so this is where probably I will stay with. So build that narrative style that is an adult speaking to an adult, and you should be great. Is that okay, Amar, if I'm not mistaken?
Amit.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah. Thank you so much, sir. And वैसे भी like आप लोग बोलते हो ना, 1 नंबर था आपका सेशन.
Thank
एक
you.
नंबर बोलते, right?
बम्बईया में वैसे भी बम्बईया हिंदी is a very rude Hindi. When you go up north, वो आप and tehzeeb, and there's a lot. Again, culturally, it's a child ego state speaking. So I slowly and steadily, even my Hindi is very colloquial, very straightforward. It's Bombaya, it's rough.
Yeah.
So my English also over a period of time is left there. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, Amit. Yes, Divya, I think Divya Roshni, you put your hand up. Divya, you got a question? Any other questions? You all should ask a lot of questions. I can't come and do anything.
Sir,
Yes.
Hello, sir. I'm Divya Roshni.
Yes, Divya.
Sir, like you said, while introducing, we really need to have a power, pause, and punch.
Yes.
But when they're asking us, like, what are you doing? So how do we answer that? Like, after introducing my name, while an interview, how do I tell that? How do I introduce myself?
Divya, come around to prepare certain things. What happens is, many a times, because we are not prepared in our communication and in introduction, we will give them a lot of garbled data. We will tell them
Yes, sir.
which school I went to and which year I passed and where my 10th standard was, 12th standard. People don't want that data that is there on your resume. There are multiple things that are available. Avoid giving them data. So most of the time people in their communication start throwing data. Effective communication is about telling them what you aspire doing, what are your dreams, what excites you, what are you working towards, who is your inspiration, something that you are passionate about. If you bring in these elements, then it becomes more meaningful for people to listen. So only an adult is able to take people into these dimensions. Otherwise, what happens is, under the name of communication, because we are asked to talk something, we will give them a lot of garbled data that I was doing this. It is meaningless for them to find out which school I went to. Even my introduction, if I tell you I went to St. Ignatius High School, I was a Wilson College student, what difference it makes to Divya Roshni that I was in Wilson College, or probably even for that matter, my father's name is Gopinath Kaushik and my mother's name is Pramila Kaushik and my wife's name is Nurja Safiania. What difference it makes to them, until unless my some politician is my, some big name I'm carrying, telling them that they will be impressed. Otherwise, these names also you can drop. Bring it to what you are as an individual, your aspirations, your aspects, your way to look at it. So I think that is what I will tell you. Prepare your talk. You will start giving less garble and you will be able to create a better impact. I hope
Yes,
I've
sir.
answered that, Divya, for you.
Yes, sir. So I have to be more correct about what I'm aspiring for and what I'm actually looking for.
Perfect.
While introducing.
Perfect. And
Yes,
prepare
sir.
well on
Thank
that.
you.
You be very clear about that. So it comes in with a lot of passion, with a lot of ownership. Yeah, great.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Anybody else?
Yes, Kaushik, I'm road actor Mitlesh. So I have a question for you. I mean, not a question. I actually wanted to say, actually, we run a company on imports and exports.
Yeah.
So some of the
Please, can
clients,
you please put on your video?
yeah,
Thank you, Mitlesh.
yeah. So what most of the complaints or most of the things we face is the clients get frustrated every time. So explaining them a complex idea or a problem is always a problem for the companies like us. So what would you give a solution to a company like us? What should we follow at the times of that?
The moment if I am able to analyze this, again I'm trying to tell you, it's always a relationship that we build. So if they are frustrated with you, because what is happening, there's some cross transactions happening. So I need to understand what is the relationship between you, how have you sold something to them, what is the relationship between. If the relationship is, they are in an adult ego state and they feel that they're doing a favor in giving you a chance to do business with them, it's an unequal level of talk that the relationship is based on. Conflicts will come in there. But when adults talk, it is a lot of reasons, a lot of data. So if people are getting frustrated, probably we are giving answers too soon. Start asking questions. If you ask questions, that's the best way to mitigate any of these cross reactions, because you're trying to understand data. If people are understood, they are not going to get angry. So there are a lot of techniques. So conflict resolution, your ability customer service, how to handle angry customer. There are multiple things on which probably there are modules, trainings and thoughts that can be done. But I'm sure that this can be managed by working on interpersonal skills and managing effective communication. So I think I will leave it at that. It can be managed and you need to work on the kind of communication that you are having with your clients. I hope I have answered that, Mithilesh.
Thank you so much, Kaushik.
Thanks, Mithilesh.
Kaushik sir, it's a question from one of the road tractor.
Okay.
She is asking, can you suggest any books which can give the best practices of communication?
Best practices of communication, my simple funda is improve reading. One newspaper a day, one magazine a week, one book a month. Please get into a habit of reading. Your communication will go up. That's the way to improve. I don't recommend going to classes. I don't recommend someone following certain. You can do a little bit on presentation skills, etc., etc., etc. But my whole point is just build a habit of reading. I have not gone to any communication class in terms of how to become a better speaker, but I have improved my reading, and I believe the more I read, the more effective I'll be able to talk. And develop a habit of listening to one English news channel, whether it's the BBC, you want to Al Jazeera, CNN, or India TV Today, any good news channel, follow that regularly. Do this in tandem. A couple of years, your English will go up, and this is a lifelong journey. I mean, that's my way of doing it. I will send you a list of books because for me to read, when I started reading, I couldn't finish one paragraph. I used to feel sleepy. I changed the toilet in the house because I started reading. My boss told me, read on the toilet seat, you will not be able to fall asleep. And that's where I built my habit of reading. So I changed multiple things. My reading journey started. Subscribed to 7 newspapers in the house. 8-10 magazines were coming. I can quickly take you all to my. I mean, today there is a library which I probably have. One sec. Let me take you through. I hope you all can see something behind. There are close to almost everywhere you will see the house will be littered with books, and there are books only all over. So you build your ability to read, develop that habit of reading, and I'm sure everything will work. But however, I'm going to send you a PowerPoint presentation about certain books that are easy to read and they help you facilitate the habit of reading. So one of the authors that I've loved reading and that helped me in my journey of becoming a reader is Jeffrey Archer. Start with those smaller stories, go on to completing larger volumes, and it's novels. I'm not talking about big funda. Today I will refer things on subject, but developing a habit of reading. You know, my boss used to say, we feed our stomach 3 times a day. Breakfast, lunch, dinner. Some of us even feed it 5 times a day. How do you feed your mind? If you are not going to feed your mind, food for the mind is going to come through reading. If you don't feed your mind, you are not going to be able to talk confidently. So reading is the only way that I will say, and I will send you probably a PPT. I'll share it with whatever link that I have gotten, and you all can circulate that, and it will become a just look at those books, look at the funda, and I think it works well.
Thank you, sir. Rajeshwari, you can.
Hello. I think we've got 8 more minutes because I was told that till 7:15 we had the time. So I kept in enough time for question answers because I think it reinforces certain things well. So it's about 7 now. So 8 more minutes.
Sindhu, you unmute Rajeshwari.
Okay, till Rajeshwari comes on.
Hello. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm sorry to interrupt, Mr. Kaushik.
No,
that was
okay.
a really nice session. Thank you
you.
so much for all those season, all this alphabetical order of not an alphabetical, like all this cluster of words. Yeah. So I would like to ask you, what were the kind of initial hardships you faced, while you've started this communication? Like everybody of us have our initial stage, right? So could you help us with few difficulties which you faced or which you have overcame in such? One such could be stage fear, or another would be like, loss of words sometimes while seeing the audience. That happens to us. We start to freak out, or, we go out of track. Sometimes it happens. We talk to something and then somebody interrupts you, or you go out of the way, whatever you have to talk to. So few hardships or few difficulties which you think might, we can overcome with few simple, things like that.
At each level, there are certain hardships that are there. For example, confidence. Even today, after doing, probably I must have done, I don't know, I've lost count, trained definitely about 1,000 programs so far in my 20-year career. And yet today, if I have to start a program, I have slight butterflies in my stomach. Okay? Now, why these butterflies are there? These butterflies stay there only for the first maybe 3-4 minutes, or maybe even 2 minutes. Once I get started, they are gone. Then I'm in my elements, and I generally feel the thought process you do. So these butterflies are good. These anxiety makes you prepare for whatever is happening. Today also, when you are starting the session, I joined at I think I was the 13th or 12th person to join in. I was there at 5:45. I just like to be with the audience also on this. Just look at a few names, what is going on, go through the flow. So little amount of preparation and anxiety is good. That anxiety, if it is paralyzing me from speaking, then that's a challenge. My major challenge came in that my pronunciation and my grip over this language was not good. I would make mistakes and people would laugh at my English words. So when I would say pizza, they would say, pizza, what dirty stuff are you eating? You can't even pronounce pizza. And then McDonald's, every word I have been corrected on my pronunciation. So your ability to get the pronunciations right, if you have got few friends, there are few friends who joke with me. I would tell them that every time you correct a pronunciation or my English error, grammatical error, I'll give you $10. So they tease me, you would be millionaires if you plan to pay up for what we've corrected in you. So my whole issue is that there will be a few people who will laugh, but you do an honest effort, in the long run, you will have the last laugh. So my whole thing is that you need to keep pushing. And the other aspect I will tell you, do you want to communicate something? Fears and the other things are there, but you should have this inherent nature of communicating something. So if there is a problem that you want to communicate but you are not able to do that, seek some help. Today we've realized that the fears may be coming in from some incidences that must have happened in the past. So there is a lot in our subconscious mind that is running, and we are able to really make some switches and we'll be able to take care of it. The issue is we need to get, I was doing a research methodology course for my pre-PhD preparation, and one IIM professor came to teach us. And that year I had already finished 2 MBAs and I was doing this research methodology course. And this IIM MBA professor, she came to teach us, and I read somewhere in the newspaper that average salary someone from IIM Ahmedabad picked up was 27 lakhs. And I said, after doing 2 MBAs, I'm not making even 1/4 of that. So what do you all teach them in an MBA? I have also studied Kotler, they are also studying Kotler, same books. What is the difference? So she laughed at me and she said, Kaushik, I'll tell you one thing, that the course of IIM Ahmedabad lasts for about 100 weeks. We expect our students to read minimum 50 hours a week. 50 hours a week they are planning to read. That means in their course they'll end up reading 5,000 hours. Getting it into IIM Ahmedabad, they have read 5,000 hours. They have read 10,000 hours in their entire life. I bet you must have not read 100 hours in your entire 2 MBAs. So what your ability to speak or communicate or reach is, it's an issue. So the challenge is about building this habit of reading. Can you build that habit of reading? I feel lucky, I had got bosses and certain things happened that I started very late at 26 reading. Prior to that I had not read a comic book even. And then the reading habit has been built in, and today it is creating an impact. So I believe the challenge is about building this habit of discipline in reading, discipline in talking English, working on these various dimensions of communication finance. If you work on this slowly and steadily, you will be able to overcome your confidence. You will be able to overcome the butterflies. So that is where I will leave it with. I think I went through this entire journey, kept pushing. Today I am comfortable, have those butterflies, but I can manage them very easily. Okay? Any further questions? Yes.
Ashok, unmute yourself and please ask.
Yes, Ashok.
Sindhu, otherwise ask them to put a question chat box so that someone can read out.
Ashok, do you have the question to ask? If you has a network problem, please text me.
Okay. Y'all can put it in a text box. I think I have opened the text box too, so I can also read and probably take it from there.
So any one of the retractors or anyone has any doubt?
Yes, Ashok, I can see your comment. Can you ask the question if you want? I will take it in typing.
Sindhu, I have a question.
Yeah, sir, you can.
Sir, Kaushik sir, it's excellent, sir. I'm a Rotarian, sir, Rotary Club of Guntur president.
Yeah.
Sir, when we are communicating in a meetings, sometimes we are facing a challenge of some inconvenience, or because they may not be interested in the subject from the receiving end. So how to manage the audience to satisfy, at least some extent?
My take on this is, my take on any audience that you manage, create dialogue. Today, most of them are saying, even now, I took a session for 25 minutes, 30 minutes, we talk. It is actually criminal. They say that after 5-7 minutes of talking, you need to take in a break, do some small activity, give some story, bring up some break in monotone. So many a times what happens is, as speakers, sometimes we talk too much, we go on and on. I have also got this issue as a being a trainer for so long. You tell me to talk, I can do training programs online for 8 hours at a stretch, and I don't get tired and I can talk. I'm very happy to talk. But the receiving people, it becomes very tiring. So my whole issue is, can we create some games, some activities? So you plan the content and the flow in a manner that after every 5-7 minutes of giving something, there is a recap, there is some questioning, there is some dialogue that we do. I think that creates an interest. The best thing is to ask people questions. If you make them passive, it is very difficult. Now, even when we are doing online, I did about 30 minutes because I said I have to cover it up, but 30 minutes is criminal. Can you bring in stories? Can you bring in a video somewhere? So today, these are the, challenges are there on, this medium, but you need to really, in my training programs, I have made it a point that you make the whole environment a lot of fun. So there is my PhD topic also is on experiential learning. So today, the principle of adult learning, if you want to teach an adult, talk to an adult, communicate to an adult, principle of adult learning are very different from this classroom method. Classroom methods are very good to download knowledge, but when we are trying to build competence, we are trying to build skills, we are trying to build harmony, teams, interact, synergies, these things, it has to be a dialogue based teaching. So there are ways in which we can improve on this, and that's my take, sir, on this. Is that okay?
Excellent, sir. Excellent, sir. Really, very much thankful to you.
Indura, can I ask a question?
Please, sir.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Kaushik?
Yes, Dr. Chaturvedi.
You have done a wonderful work. Let me tell you. Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
But I'd like to ask you one question. You know, when somebody asked Winston Churchill how you have become such a great orator, it seems he said, I'll consider all my audience to be bloody fools.
So,
hello?
Yeah, I'm hearing you.
Yeah. The second, which I have also been an orator for a very long time. You know, as you rightly said, the transaction, teacher-student transaction is another thing many people adopt. What is the best way to win over the audience in a very short time? How long will you take to take them in your hold to understand the dexterity of the audience and bring them into one platform where you can speak?
My take, sir, on this is very, very clear. I try and keep an adult disposition. Winston Churchill says that they are fools and I will talk to them. Probably it was very relevant at that period of time.
That is just a saying I said, not anything.
No, agreed. What I believe is that was relevant at that particular period of time. In a military-based, authoritarian way, when they talk, it's a parent-child communication. But today, in my 20 years as a sales trainer or manager development programs that I run through, the single most important thing that I follow is I will not talk to their any other ego state. I will only talk to an adult ego state. I will talk with logic. I will talk with data, and I will talk with fun. And at some period of time, you realize the audience also will be the first 15-20 minutes. Half of them will be looking at you whether this guy is making sense. So there is a time that they take to receive you. It's okay. I give them that time. In that, probably I will crack a few jokes on myself. I bring the whole environment down in a manner that anyone can talk, anyone is free to, and that adult to adult, if the adults are hooked, they will stay with you. If a parent child is hooked, they will stay with you for some time, but beyond, after some period of time, fatigue comes in and they shut up. So our ability, my entire manager development programs, leadership programs that I run for various corporates, everywhere I keep telling them that today's generation Y, generation X, younger people that you're trying to talk to, you cannot use what was applicable 20 years back. You need to go around talking to them as an adult, talking to them as someone who's very intelligent. Both my boys are very young. I've got 20 and 18-year-old sons, both of them. I mean, with them also today, you cannot, we stopped dealing with them with an authoritarian way long back. This idea is that you talk to them as an individual, probably you will have a better grip and better understanding and better communication with them. Otherwise, they will not probably be able to listen to you at all. So the quickest way on doing it is, can you hook their adult? How do you hook their adult? Ask them some questions, interact with them, take their opinion. As quickly as possible, if you can make them start talking with you, you've been able to lock them in. So that's my way of taking it.
Excellent, excellent. Last but not the least,
yeah.
Was there any occasion where you felt that you are being looked as a child in the transaction?
Luckily for me, whenever I'm in a training class, by God's grace, very early on, I was heading training in Ranbaxy. So when I went as a head of training in that environment, I was the boss. So that issue never came in. But a couple of times, you put in a bigger guy inside. So the president comes and sits in for my session. Or my reporting boss, the CEO, comes and sits in for a session. There were a particular period of time, I started feeling a little, you go a little careful. And I've realized that I've been given a bad rating and a bad criticism by my immediate boss. He said, you were nervous, you didn't crack a single joke, there was no single smile, you were almost like a school teacher. So where is I thought you would be fun and flair to listen to. And luckily I had these bosses where I realized that whatever said and done, while you're doing that job and you are a speaker, take ownership, have a lot of fun. Any which ways, later on I got hit a couple of times when these big guys sat in. So my take on this is that while you are dealing with people, the most important thing is you should have fun. Are you enjoying the whole process? Things go okay. Even if something goes wrong, laugh about it. There are particular period of time, people backfire with you, right. They challenge you, these things happen. And if you become too defensive, you will lose it. Go put your arm around, joke around with him, get him involved, give him the podium, say that I'm a fool, probably I learned from you. And the moment you acknowledge people, I think it's about managing certain egos in these situations, and you are able to come out of it.
Excellent, excellent.
By God's grace, I've never been able to, I've got nervous so much that I didn't crack jokes and I lost my normal style of talking. But I've never had I've fallen back on face. I've had people being a little angry and upset, and then we've gone and covered up. One of the programs, this thing happened, they went and complained behind my back by saying that no, we didn't like his examples, and then there was an intervention done. But never in a session I've been able to come out with that adult comfortably.
Excellent. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
Stay long. Stay long. Thank you.
Sri here.
Yes.
I am rotating. So while you are dealing with Generation X, what are the problems you are facing? Or Generation X, people are not sparing a time to have long time discussions like that.
Oh yes, everything now is in an instant. You
Yeah,
realize even a video that you make and put on YouTube, I used to make it
yeah,
7-8 million. No one watches even 7 minutes. Today the
yeah,
attention spans with Generation X is very less. It's because of the kind of advertisements we see. What has gone wrong? Everything now has to be done in 20 seconds and 30 seconds. That is their attention span. So to keep them engaged, you you see how difficult it is to have a lecture mode. Your ability, they need something tantalizing every time. So getting into an activity based training, interaction, workshops, pulling them out, breaking the classroom. The classrooms have not yet been broken, sir. Everywhere we still sit in a conventional classroom, and probably my reading is showing that the classroom is the most ineffective way of teaching. So can we really reorganize the classroom? Can we create quick projects? Can we interact? So our curriculum, how we are teaching, our topics, how we are trying to take them, needs to be changed. I was telling them also, creativity, today in the lecture mode, people are not going to listen to you. You need to make videos that are 5 minutes and create a module and put it on YouTube. I'm trying to do that on YouTube also. So if this 5 C's of communication, I've got 6 videos on YouTube, each only talking about one C. That also people will not watch completely. They will look at it and they say that they know. But this is the reality, and you need to give it to them in those bites. So can we make it more appealing for them? So Generation X has got this shorter time, attention span. We need to upgrade our style of reaching out to them in those span. Make it as interactive, as compact, as tantalizing, as involving, entertaining their adult. I think they will be able to pick it up easily. But if we stick to
right.
our old ways, it hits us.
Yeah, because while we are doing all these meetings and all, so even I am facing a problem while we are uploading a video or a program sheet, program video. They are not able to see even 3 minute, 4 minute, or 5 minute video. That is the reason I am asking.
Yeah, it is. I totally agree with you. We need to attack them on multiple, I've realized that putting even look at social media, Facebook or WhatsApp, they've got this, in seconds that thing goes off. That's their attention span. That is what most of them are doing all the while. So today, if you want to reach out to these to them, we need to also create our inputs into those formats. So reach them there,
Yeah.
put them on their WhatsApp that status, put it on Facebook status, put 3-4 photographs only and do it, 30-second video only and do it. And in that, if we are able to capture it, okay, great. Otherwise, we are going to somehow or the other, we miss them out.
And one more thing I want to ask you. In the biodata itself, you are telling that don't read all these things, very interesting and all. So some of the speakers are coming from a big institutions like IIM, IIT, or from education, from big institutions like Harvard. Like that, we have to highlight that also, so that the people will get attention of that. So even I don't want to interfere your opinion, but we have to see the biodata and the projects and all, the probabilities that we can choose it up.
No, I agree with you. What I'm trying to say is that if I've been Harvard educated, I will definitely, it is the first sentence that I will say. If my uncle is Narendra Modi, I will say that first in my interview before I say anything else.
Yeah.
My point is that do you know what are your key highlights? Many a times what people mistake is, if I tell you that I went to St. Ignatius High School, that data for you is insignificant. Probably there may be 50 St. Ignatius and St. Joseph High Schools in the country. If I've gone to probably, I don't know whether you probably would know Wilson College also. Or there's nothing great about these qualifications or the university or education that I've taken. Now why do I talk about that in my introduction? So there you focus on your core abilities and strengths. But if I have got something, if many people miss out. I've played state level badminton. I will of course bring it up front. My achievements of being outlier in whatever area that I am, those things you need to definitely highlight. So I definitely teach all these things. But what I was probably was not clear in explaining that, I said that there is a lot of unwanted data which is present. You need to put it on your resume. That need not be taken when you are introducing. But if there are certain achievements that are extraordinary, please highlight them. That's my take.
Correct, sir. Thank you.
Pleasure, sir. Pleasure.
Thank you so much, sir. That was very informative for me, personally speaking. Moving on, working as General Manager in RDS System Private Limited, been the past President of Rotary Club of Jubilee Hills, held various positions in District 3150. As the President, received special awards as Live Wire President of the district for the first time in the district. I would now like to request our DRCC, Rotarian Ravindra, to address the gathering.
Hi everybody. After listening to all this, now I'm scared to talk. Long talk. Anyway, I'm not at all any long talkers, but it's very good and very inspirational and very important topics he has suggested. So let's follow that. Let's not go for the long talks. That is the most important. I always say, no long talks. Have fun. Have that conversation. Not one side talking, other side getting boring. I always say, that's why I'm a live wire man and live wire president. So that's it. That's it for now. Thank you very much to my Rotaractors and all of us. Bye.
Thank you so much, sir. I would now like to call our DRR, Ms. Sindhura Papsetti, to give the closing remarks.
Thank you, Rotaractor Divyanshi. And special thanks to Kaushik sir for it's really a good session. And I think so it benefits a lot to all the Rotaractors who are going to build their careers in the future. And my special thanks to Interactor Satvika, who is also a granddaughter of Rotarian Amarnath Garu, who is the district Interact chair, for giving her a speech on literacy. So thank you so much to all the Rotaractors, DJs, and everyone for participating in this. I think so. I hope this session will benefit the Rotaractors and everything. Over to you, Divyanshi.
Thank you, ma'am. The event couldn't have been more informative for our personal development. I would now like to call upon our biggest support system, Rotaractor Rohit, our district secretary, to give the vote of thanks.
I, Rotaractor Rohit, on behalf of Rotaract District Council 2021, would like to thank Mr. Sriharsha Kaushik for his speech on effective communication skills, which was very informative to all the Rotaractors. And I also thank Interactor Satvika for her session on literacy and education. And I thank all the past district governors, District Governor nominee Rajshekhar sir, and our very own DRCC, Rotarian K. Ravindra sir, and our DRR Rotaractor Sindhura, and also all the Rotarians who have graced this event with our fellow Rotaractors. Thank you so much. Over to you, MC.
Thank you so much, Rotaractor Rohit. As the event comes to an end, I would like to personally thank each one of you present here for making this event such a success even in these hard times. This is Rotaractor Divyanshi Srivastav, your host and the Joint Director of Professional Development, signing off. Thank you.